3, 2, 1, go. I thought I could do a simple meet recap and talk about my performance, but I realised this meet meant a lot more to me than just the competition itself, and I've been feeling a bit emotional since then. I recently purchased a few games during this bank holiday, and I got Helldivers 2 and Sekiro. Helldivers is just weird, but Sekiro was interesting as it's known as a notoriously hard game. Being used to games like Assassin's Creed and God of War, where it's basically button mash, attack and dodge, Sekiro required a more skill-based approach, parrying, dodging, learning where to strike, and observing the movement and attacking patterns of the enemy in front of you. How does this relate to powerlifting? I'll explain in a minute, just hold on. Putting it simply, I died a ton of times while playing this game, and I'm barely 10% through the storyline. But within the first 2 days of playing the game, I noticed a pattern, or rather a bad habit, I was getting stuck in all the time. Quite simply, going back, I am very good at not giving up on things, which can be a positive or negative thing. In Sekiro, I had found a boss which was proving very difficult to overcome. And rather than pause and assess my performance, I just kept on running back in over and over again. It got to a point where I think I'd died about 15 times, and I didn't take a pause within those 15 times. It was pretty much die, just go back in, try and fight this lady over and over again, with the mentality of I'm just going to power through this and get better. This ability has been very helpful in certain areas of my life, in terms of university, as I had a bad habit of leaving coursework or exam revision to, let's say, the last week or last minute. I always had this wonderful ability to keep on going. And if that meant a 48-hour revision session before an exam, or writing 1,000 words in like 2-3 days, I was very good at gritting out the hard work when it was needed. And I'd always enjoy it because I always thought of it as a challenge to see how much I could push myself before the submission deadline of the exam.
Now, my 2023 powerlifting career, you want to say, felt a bit like Sekiro, and it kind of reminded me of that period because I felt like I was going from one competition to another without necessarily improving, or like we were analysing what was going wrong, but we were just not performing to standard. And one meet that I keep on going back to, and I think probably where it all started from, was Sheffield. Sheffield, I went for 337.5 squat, missed it due to strength, missed a 210 bench, my third attempt, and then missed a 391 deadlift attempt. And I got very beat up after that. Malta was an absolute disaster, in the sense of my squat and bench was actually okay on the day, considering how much pain and like issues I was dealing with post Sheffield. But deadlifts just were bad, and it was just because I was so injured. But overall, I just had to step back for this competition in Arnolds and kind of just analyze the whole big picture. And I kind of noticed it was funny because I was playing Sekiro and I was getting stuck in loops, and I realized that it was very similar to what I did for Arnolds. I just needed to step back, and rather than go from one thing to another and just keep on forcing and trying to force that progression, I needed to analyze what I was doing, what I needed to improve, and just realize that sometimes just working harder isn't enough. You need to do the recovery harder. You need to strategize your life. There are loads more the components that go into a successful athlete than just the training. You know, there's the recovery, there's the sleep, there's the nutrition, hydration, your planning, load picking. It's your mentality, you know, life stresses, multiple things go into a good competition. And I think I realized that very good well for Arnold's itself. Now, before we get into Arnold's, I want to talk about some of my best lifts during this prep, since I didn't show a lot on YouTube, unfortunately. But my best squat was a 330 kg squat, which moved really good, and I was happy with it. I hit a 315 double a week before, so we didn't really push singles this prep, and we probably won't push singles onto nationals, really. So I was very happy to hit a 330 kg squat. Then the surprise of the whole prep was probably bench. Bench went amazingly well. We tried a different technique. We tried more bench days, different technique, different shoes. We tried different grip, different bar positioning. We tried a lot of different things, and I think eventually it all clicked together. The leg drive was amazing, and we just figured that we found the good recipe for bench. And it's a weird one because I'm terrible at rep work, but that rep work translates so well for top end strength. I just need to get better at the high volume sets. And then deadlift was a 370 kg double attempt, which went okay. Kind of lost the grip on the top end. Lockout was also soft, but they're little things we can work on going into the next prep. Now on the meet day, we're just going to basically watch the meet as we go along right now. But squats overall was okay. I was actually very nervous on this day for some reason. When it came to competition day, everything hit me all at once. You know, this is like we've been working since Malta, which was like June 2023. I've kind of just been in this grind mode of just keep on pushing. Like, I didn't know if I was going to ever get healthy again. So I was just pushing, hoping that, you know, I would get back to this position where I can be healthy and actually lift and have fun on a platform. So the whole situation was nervous. Like I was there and I was so nervous in the back room. It was insane. So we had a 305 kg opener, which moved okay. Because of the nerves, I just like glitched basically, and like I sunk it way too deep, but we ended up getting the reps, so I'm happy with it irrespective. Now for second attempt, we went to 325. So because 305 moved not as good as we expected, we took the lower end on the second jump, which was 325, and then I just kind of remembered everything I needed to do. Stay tight, drive off the quads, and it was a very, very good second attempt. I was happy with it, and my coach actually wanted to go for 340, but I just figured, you know, let's be conservative, man. I'm not feeling the best today. I was feeling good strength-wise, but just like nerves and confidence-wise, I just wasn't feeling the best. So we ended up going for 337.5, which also moved really, really good, and I was happy with that attempt itself. It kind of shows that there's a lot of potential and room for squats to grow, and even like post-training now, I feel great. Like I feel like I've really, as I feel like the leverages, as I feel like the 120 class, very, very slowly, bear in mind, I think I'm gonna like really, really nail squats, and they'll improve very, very quickly. Now, bench was probably the one lift that's gone the best in training so far. So we had a 200 kg opener that flew, no problem. From 200, we stepped up all the way to a 212 kg bench attempt, which was very good again, straight off the chest. I've like power off the chest has been really, really good. So I'm happy with it. Technique was on point, you know, leg drive, everything was great. So from there, we decided to go for the legendary 220, you know, try and get that off ticket, see if we can get it. Based off the 215, we thought the 220 should be a lot easier and on the day, but it proved to be a grind. But I was able to grind through it, which I'm happy. But I do know why I did setup wise that I think I can improve and optimize going into the next competition, which I don't know when will be, but bench on right now feels locked in, and it feels like it's just going to get better and better and better. And then came deadlifts. Now, deadlifts was a bit of an interesting one because I'm notorious for cramping, and I just had little cramping sensations in my hands. I pulled my first warm up, right, and I was trying to gauge, okay, I don't want to cramp because I survived bench, and I don't want to cramp on deadlift. So I pulled the first warm up with 70 kilos, and my glutes cramped, like they locked up, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a sticky one. So I just played it conservative, warmed up with like 70% energy, which meant speed wasn't the best off the floor because I wasn't applying so much effort because I didn't want to cramp or lock up anything aggressively. So we started with 335, smoked that was okay. Although you can see my speed off the floor isn't great. And then from there we jumped up to 370 kilos. Ideally, the plan was if deadlift was really, really clicking, wanted to go 380 for a second, but it just wasn't the day for it. But the 370 was okay. I'm happy with it. We didn't expect Yanis to be so close also. Yanis was having an amazing day, and Ade and Kijel were just so far ahead. So we're basically having to defend third and like run our own race. So after the 370, we went for 380 kg third attempt. Unfortunately, can't get revenge on that 385. That's gonna wait for a while, but it was pretty chill. Like, you know, we went for it. Overall, deadlifts were not as great as I expected, you know. Kind of wanted a bit more, but it is what it is. It was a very, very good day. Locked in a 937.5 kilo total. Overall, I'm happy with the meet. You know, I can't complain. It's a massive comp PB. Do we think like we had more in the attack? 100%. You know, do we think we can get a lot stronger? 100%. Selections was basically a meet where I was like, yo, I'm injured, but I'm going to compete because I'm an athlete and I'm going to turn up. Arnolds was, I'm going to get slightly healthy. Now I can actually train, and I'm going to show you what I potentially could have done as my top end is a 105. You know, I was a healthy 105, no cramping or nothing. And then hopefully the next me is like, yo, this is me as a 120. You know, I'm here. Let's see what happens. But I know it's a very, very long journey. I know how much effort has gone into getting to this position, and I'm very aware of how much effort will be required to go to the next stage. And I think that's the one thing I think a lot of people miss out. You know, it's a lot of effort to perform at this standard and at this level. So it takes a lot. There's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made, you know, just not myself personal, but it's like family, partners, work. There's a lot of things that go into a competition prep. But overall, I'm happy. Thank you so much. It's been a while. Hopefully I'll catch you guys on some regular training, you know. All the 120s across the world seem to be going insane, and now I'm a 120, so might as well start making YouTube videos. So catch you in the next one. Peace.